Hi everyone, Sarah here. I have some cards to share with you. Two cards and a tag. Let me first just show you what I use. So I pulled out some of my Stamps of Life that I had picked up when I was in Novi for Great Lakes Mega Meet. And I hadn't had a chance to use them. That was back in May that I went. So I pulled these out and I stamped them just on mixed media paper, and I used my Zig Clean Color Real Brush to color them in. So I do have that to share with you. It's really basic coloring because they're donuts. There's really just two parts to it. I didn't do any stamping of the sprinkles on these ones. So basically just plain donuts. And then I used some of the sentiments, and then I also had this set. This one is called Donuts to Stamp, and then this was the sentiments, and it's sayings for donuts. I don't think I actually used any of these ones yet, but I have them there to go with it. Okay, so what I did use though was the Lawn Fawn quilted backdrop from Lawn Fawn, and again, this one I've had for a while. Bought it when it first came out and I had not used it, so it is a really awesome die. I do love it. It makes a great background. The only thing is I literally did have to sit there and pick out these little tiny dots on every single spot. That was fun. To add some interest on one of the cards, I used this Spellbinder shape. I don't have a name because this was one I purchased at a garage sale. But just this shape to cut it out. On another one, because this is full card size, this is 5.5 by 4.25, so it goes exactly to the edge of the card, and I wanted a border around it, so I used this stitch rectangle from this really old Dynamics Blueprints 13. I think it's probably my most used is this rectangle, because it does give a nice size border edge to the card, just a tiny bit of color peeking through, and that's all I really wanted. I did add in some unbranded dies. So I have these word dies that I picked up. This one's Wishing, Sending, and Thanks, and they have the outlines to them. Sorry, not looking at the glare there for you guys. And then this is a stitch tag die set that I picked up, and I really love the shape of that tag. It comes with two inserts that you can cut out to make them into frames, and it leaves the stitching on the tag. So there's that one, and then this one is slightly smaller. So cute. Great shape, great size, like really awesome size tag. You don't need to use it as a tag. You can cover up the hole and use it as a shape on your card, anything like that. So I do have that one there that I used also. So here we go. This was the first one that I made. And this is with that Spellbinders. And then I did round the corners on these two sides to kind of match with it. And I added sprinkles with, it was the Nuvo Glitter Accents. So this kind of comes out chunky. So that's what I used for those sprinkles. Just drew them on there myself. There's like some foam tape just on the word. Everything else is glued down to the actual card. Added in a little hand cut banner with the happy birthday underneath there. And then on the inside, you do not look a year older. Super cute. Just love the way it turned out. And then this was my second one. This was the one with the stitched rectangle, which I really love the way it turned out. It looks perfect. And on this one, I started adding in some Nuvo drops. So this is Nuvo Crystal Drops. What's the color? Carnation Pink is what I used. Just thought it matched perfectly, and I added this one in after, or no, this one was before actually. I had done the whole sheet. So I might still add more to this one. It's kind of plain. I just have a couple of donuts, and then the word wishing is popped up, and I have not done the inside yet, so this one's not really complete. But here is my tag. So super cute. I love the way it turned out. This one I switched over to Bubblegum Blush for the Nuvo drops, just because I didn't want it to stick out as much, and I did some distress inking on the sides, and I did, what I did was I cut out 2 of the tag shapes, one in pink and one that I had already cut out with the Lawn Fun background. I just cut it out of that piece, a piece of white cardstock that was already put through with the background. So, and then thanks is popped off. So cute. That's my donuts cards. So I will attach the coloring for you guys. Again, it was just basic, simple coloring with the Real Color, Clean Color Real Brush pens, and on mixed media paper, and I did use VersaFine for stamping because I was using watercolor. So that's it. Hope you guys enjoy. Please leave a comment, subscribe, and have a great day. Thanks. Bye. I just realized that I forgot to include this card when I was showing you guys. I forgot I had another one. Obviously, it's because it was a different color. So this is one of the box cards that I made, and I added in this donut, which I did use the sprinkles, and I embossed it with this turquoise, and that's kind of what brought this card on. So, and then I also have the hugs die. These are the sentiments from the second donut stamp set, and then these little tiny donuts are actually from a die set that I had. I showed it a long time ago in my videos, and I have had these extra donuts sitting around, so I just picked them up and stuck them onto my card. So this one's more for someone who's dieting. It says hugs, and today I bought a donut with without sprinkles, and on the front it says do not give up, diets are hard, and eat more whole foods. So super cute, and then it just folds up flat. The hugs does stick out a little bit, but that should still fit in an envelope. Sorry, I'm trying to do this one-handed to add it in really quick. And then this little guy is from Crafting Desert Divas. I think it's called Krabby Critters. You can tell he's upset. Super cute. Alright, hope you guys enjoyed. Okay, so I'm just going to share with you a couple of the donuts that I colored. The first thing I started off with was a brownish beige color for the actual donut portion of the donuts. Nothing too fancy. I just colored the one side and then pulled the color out with the water brush. So the Zig Clean Color Real Brush pens are good for small spaces, I think. The hardest part I had was coloring the frosting on the donuts. So you'll see that in a minute. I'm just coloring up the base of the 3 donuts here. I only showed the large donuts. I ended up doing all of the other ones pretty much the same. It was just a variation of chocolate pink, and then I did do a couple of white donuts, which just used a little bit of gray around some of the edges. Nothing fancy. But I did realize I had stamped all of these out on my mixed media paper, and it's in a spiral bound book. So while I was doing these donuts, I realized that my wrist, which may have been a little sweaty, who knows, it's warm now, was touching the smaller donuts down below because I lean my hand on the paper as I'm coloring, and it was transferring some of the ink. So because I used Versamark, it does take a long time to dry, and I did leave these for a little bit, but I probably should have blasted them with a little heat before I started. So after I did these 3 donuts, I ended up cutting all of the little donuts out, and like cutting that strip off the side and the bottom, and cutting them down smaller so that I wasn't touching the other donuts while I was coloring. So this was my first one for the frosting, and this is where I say that I think all the clean colors are better for small spaces, because it was really hard to get the color to look even for such a large space. So with this one I started off with just the one color of brown and used my water brush to pull it out, and you'll notice as I go along that I kind of run out of color that I can pull out, so I added in some more. just over the donut hole there. And I did realize after that I needed to color in the donut holes, so I did that off camera. So you can see it just kind of looks a little bit blotchy because I'm adding more water to pull the color, but then whenever you go over it again, you have to go over the entire thing or else you're going to see lines from your water. So the first one wasn't great. It still turned out nice and I still used it. For the second one, I decided to try something different because it was such a large space. So I used 2 colors of brown. I used the same dark brown around the edges. And you'll see I go around all the edges with the dark brown. I did it piece by piece also. And then I went around with the lighter brown to pull it out. So that's one of the techniques that I use on smaller images, is that I don't always use a water brush. So I use a lighter color to pull the color out. So in this one, I'm just doing it in sections. And I think it turned out really nice and a nice rich chocolate color. You still have to go back and go over your other sections as you're going, or else you'll see there's a line there. And you don't want that line, so you have to brush it all out again. But I thought that that one turned out probably the best, and it was the darkest, richest chocolate donut. So then here's the pink ones. I started off with a bright pinkish purple color. And I can't remember for this one if I pulled out with a lighter color or if I used a water brush. No, lighter color. And then I believe I used water brush after on this one because I was trying different variations because I didn't want to use too much ink to color the whole sections. But again, this was just the 3 big donuts are the only ones that I recorded. All of the other ones are exactly the same because they're all the same donut, just different variations of those 3 pens. And I did do some chocolate donut, so the bottom of the donut is brown. All right, that's it. Hope you enjoyed.